Okay, in the mornings I usually take this medication, and it's for my thyroid when they took it out, like I was mentioning. The thyroid does a lot. It regulates the calcium, your metabolism, and different things like that. And I had a hemorrhage for some reason on my neck on the right side, so they had to take mine out. Um, so, anyways, they give me synthroid, which I have my name on here. So, I'll go like this. So, anyways, it's synthroid. I don't know if you can see it or not. But anyways, it's 150 micrograms, like I was saying, and I was taking 112 before, so it's going up higher and higher. And I had two different doctors that say different things about this synthroid. Um, one of them, okay, they were giving me the generic one before, and I said, because I couldn't take it, and different reactions, so they gave me the brand name. But I've heard two different things. One of the doctors that I had said that I shouldn't take the micrograms so high because it could mess with your bones, you know, like do something to them, or your heart, because your thyroid, believe it or not, has something to do with your heart too. It has to do with your metabolism. It has to do with levels of magnesium, calcium especially. Um, you have to take the right dosage, or those things could go low. Because I do take calcium too, because sometimes my levels are really, really low since they've taken this thyroid out. Um, but I didn't even realize that little thing in your neck regulates so many things. And since I've been doing the keto diet, it seems like it's really good for me. I mean, not seems, it is. You know, um, it really helps with weight loss. It helps with eating healthy. Um, I mean, I've never experienced anything so wonderful as the keto diet, and I'm sticking to it. I mean, people go on it for a little bit just to lose some weight or whatever, but I want to stick to it all the time because it helps me physically. I mean, I feel better, I do. And so I don't know if it's helping with thyroid. It probably is. That little, I mean, I don't know because I'll go to the doctor and I'm gonna see what it's doing, with my calcium and so forth. But I know the weight loss came off. The weight came off, and that's a good thing. So I don't mind getting on the scale. I'm like, yeah, say my weight out loud. Go ahead. And now they don't want to say it out loud. They're like, oh. Before I was like, can you write it down? Don't tell me my weight. But now I'm like getting on there, and I'm like, yeah, go ahead and say it out loud because when you're in the hundreds, instead of going with real high hundreds, you're like, um, you're telling them don't you or say my weight out loud. But I don't mind now because it's really good. We just have to get back over to the gym because we have missed months from the gym, and it's been cold, outside, but that's no excuse. And I need to be in good shape for the summer because we're going to be doing some good videos in the summer, showing a lot of good things. So I have to be in shape. Really have to be in shape. But anyways, if anybody has any comments about Synthroid, um, about their experiences taking it, if they do take it, we're worldwide, so I don't know who's watching this, but um, it would be really enlightening, and you can let me know. But I'm going to try different things. I'm going to try the rice water challenge, and that's going to start today, and I'm going to see results within, we'll probably check it out within probably maybe 10 days or so. That's kind of like enough time. If not, we'll do it like for 30 days. We'll see 10 days, and we'll do 30 days. But I'm going to try that, and then If anybody has any comments about the rice water, I've seen a lot of stuff on, online, and it sounds positive. I've seen a couple of negative, but if you personally and you watch my channel, have actually want to comment on it, let me know. I'm gonna try it, but I know I have to, condition it, deep condition it, or after, because that's what I'm hearing. Because if you don't, then they say it dries it out, and I definitely don't need mine dried out more, because my hair tends to dry, and I don't know. When I take, that's why I brought up the thyroid pill too, because something about the thyroid pill, if you don't take it, it does things to your hair too. So I was talking about it coming out and stuff like that. Periodic, I mean more than it normally does especially when I wash it. Not as much as like the second day that I wash it, or the third, but the first day more than normal, because I know what a normal amount of hair that comes out. But I don't know if it has to do with this too, because sometimes I will wait 3 days to take it because it stays in your system for 3 days, and I don't want to. I get nervous about what the doctor was saying, that the bones and stuff like that. If you take too high of a dosage, and from 112 to 150, that's kind of like a jump, a big jump. And my other doctor said, don't worry about it. So I don't know. You never know. It's like different opinions. And don't they have unity? Like when you have unified teaching, like I'm a one person. It's not like I'm somebody else, and you could say, well, yeah, it's varying. No. Even if I was a different person, and you tell somebody this particular drug will make your bones do this if it's too high, or if it's too low, it's better. You're going to say the same thing. The doctor's not going to say something the opposite of the other doctor. If they have the same training, the same knowledge should be there. Am I right? I mean, like, okay, unity. Like when you ask a doctor something, they should have the same opinion or facts. Because, I mean, it shouldn't be an opinion when it has to do with something like a medication, because it's your health and your life, And, sometimes I wish I never let them take my thyroid out, but that hemorrhage, I was thinking I was going to get like one of those lumps on my neck, so I was nervous about it. But I've heard where some people were put on thyroid medication when they were younger because of their weight or whatever, and they have to keep taking it. They can't stop taking it. They didn't have a thyroid out, but they have to slowly get off of it. But when they took mine out, you have to take it every day. You have to have it. So sometimes I skip it because it's like 3 days is a long. My alarm going off. It's a long. 3 days. Taking it every single day, I kind of like let it stay in my system. But I'm just taking it every day to see if it's gonna change, because I'll go do the blood test or whatever, and then see if it's helping, because the last time I went, they kept it high because they're saying that it's the levels are like they need to keep the high dosage, but I haven't taken it every single day because I'm nervous that something's gonna happen, because my other doctor told me something different, so I'm like, who do I trust? So anyways, we got to be careful, and if there are any doctors or whatever out there and they have don't let it be an opinion, let it be a factual thing about this medication, because it seems to be working okay so far, but I just am nervous about, because it's 150 micrograms instead of, I was used to the 112. Excuse me. And it might take time, which it does take time to regulate itself in your body, but I've been taking it for about over 6 months, so it should be in there, and so it should show results when I have the tests done to see if it's really good in there. But anyways, the long story short, which the story already got long, when I was taking the thyroid medication and I had the generic brand, I was gaining weight really, really fast. And I ate now it could be I was eating carbs too, because I know that makes a big difference. I was eating like a half of a sandwich, and I was like eating like I thought I was eating healthy, but I know I'm eating healthy now because I'm seeing what you're supposed to eat. And I was in nursing too, and I took nutritional classes and everything else. And they never taught that. Well, they did teach about the carbs, but you tend to ignore it sometimes because you're used to a lifestyle of eating. But yeah, they did. They did talk about it now that I think about it. So I should have known better, but I never heard of the keto diet. And it's really it's going to save a lot of lives if people try it, and you'll feel really good about yourself. You'll slip in your clothes that you never wore for years if you've gained weight, or but even if you're at the right size, but you might not be healthy because too many sugars in your body are not good for you. You need some, but and you need some carbs, but not. Some people need less than others. Like a person that's overweight, they should cut the carbs out a lot because you're gaining weight. Haven't you ever seen that pizza commercial or the pasta and garlic bread, which ooh, that was good. When I used to have like spaghetti, I would always put like the bread on the side, the garlic bread or garlic and cheese bread, but the bread part and the pasta part are negative together like that because that's a whole lot of carbs unless you're way underweight. And then even if you're underweight, you still got to be careful. You don't want too many sugars in your body because then you can become a diabetic. Now, they have a pasta, which I'm going to show on here later on. My daughter found it, and it's a low carb. And I do have a friend. He's a wonderful friend of ours, my son's friend, and all of our friends, um, our friend in the faith. He makes keto dinners and things like that. So he's going to be cooking one day, and I'll have him on here. So we're going to show a lot of menus. So please subscribe and like if you want to see them. We're gonna really have some things going here, and it's going to be enjoyable. And we have different things going on. Some things, new things, trying them like the challenges. And if you have something that you want us to try, let me know. Um, we're going to be doing different things, and there's a lot of channels out there I know, and I'm really enjoying seeing a lot of these things, and that's why I'm learning a lot of things too. But I really wanted to know more about, like, if anybody's taking the thyroid medication for whatever reason, they might not have a thyroid taken out, but for weight loss or whatever reason that the doctor has given it to them, they may not even need this anymore if they're doing a keto diet. That's one thing. Because, see, the thing I know, and this is not playing around, doctors make money by prescribing, well, the pharmaceutical companies make money by prescribing medications. And it's a booming business. It's like billions of dollars they get. And sometimes they're not even necessary to take. They'd rather tell you take a insulin rather than drink some black tea. Oh, back to that subject, and I almost forgot about that. I jumped to the thyroid thing because I was coming to take my pill. But anyways, when I took that black tea after I got home and I looked it up and said black tea. So I had the Lipton tea and I took it and I started sipping it. It tells you, how to do it, even like a medication. So I was sipping it throughout the day, and I still felt weird, like sugar, because my body was like tingling. It was just weird because it was like took out all of my calcium probably out of my body, and plus it was making my sugar level really high. So, anyways, probably not all of it out of my body, but pretty much it took calcium out because I could feel tingling in my body, and so stripped it. Anyways, I was drinking it, and then it took me like maybe 3 cups, and then I could feel my toes were feeling better, and my fingers. I don't have diabetes, but I have to watch my sugar just like anybody else because you can become a diabetic if you don't watch it. I mean, everybody is diagnosed with diabetes. You've got diabetes. You've got diabetes. Why? Because you look on the commercial, you see the pasta and the bread together, corn with potatoes, and you mix those together and you're getting a lot of starches, and those starches are turning into carbs and sugary. It's a sugar. It's a fact. So be careful. I don't eat any of those things. Like if I need some carbs, I'll pop me something that has carbs, or everything pretty much has carbs, some type of carbs in it. But there's some that don't have any, or very low. So that was contradiction, but mostly everything has carbs in it, but there's some that have really low carbs. And there are some that have none. So I'm not going to say everything, I said mostly. So that helps you with not having too much sugar in your blood. And you can get diabetes from that, and people aren't realizing that that's what's causing it. Because I did like potatoes with butter on it, and sometimes I'd eat things together like that, bread, with pasta especially. And like if you have beans, and usually you have some rice, and then I would eat like, you get a bowl of rice, and then you're like, oh, I want some more, so you get more, and you're like, you might even eat 2 or 3 bowls of rice with some beans, and that's bad, because that's a whole lot of carbs. Some people might be able to have more carbs than others, which I know, but for me, too many carbs are trouble. So, and I need to quit going off the subject, but back to the tea. Okay, after I drank that black tea, it worked. It really worked. It went away. I had no more sugar reaction from when I ate that. I was fine, but it took like some hours. It took like till that evening. And when I got back in the morning, I started doing it. It took a while for that to come out of my blood. It took like about 3 cups of tea, and then I started feeling better like by the evening time. So, you got to drink that and then get a lot of rest, and it slowly but surely came out of my blood, and the sugar. So I know it works. And a lot of people are scared, like, oh no, I gotta take my shot or whatever. But ask your doctor how, or maybe have your insulin or whatever. But don't do it unless you know from your doctor for sure that it might be okay. And a lot of times they're not going to tell you because, like I was saying, they um, want the money for the pharmaceutical, and they all work together. Now they're a union that way. They're a unity. By the medication, they work with them. But whenever they come to diagnosing you, they don't. They're not in unity. What you need is unity. For people to trust you and believe you, you have to have the same thought, the same facts. And you go to school, so you should have complete facts on certain things, especially in diagnosing somebody and you're telling them about a medication that you should know about. When I was in nursing, we had to carry around a book, and it was a drug book, and you'd have to look through the PDR. You'd have to carry around your index cards, which have medication interactions, certain things. You have to keep them, and you look in them. Take a few minutes before you give somebody medication, a shot or whatever, or let them know, consult with them or whatever, what the doctor says. Like even if a doctor tells you give them this medication, you got to go and see what they have in their chart, and then look at if there's an interaction, and if there is, the doctor might not realize it and say, doctor, this or that, because it could mean somebody's life. And this is the last thing I'm going to tell you because I got to go check on Rosalind. She's doing her homework. Her schoolwork. I'm just doing that because now I know my hair. I usually wash it on a Wednesday, a Sunday, Monday. Today is Monday. Monday, Wednesday, and sometimes it's Sunday, but I think that's too close. So I'll probably just start doing it 2 times a week instead because I don't need it that many days. That's probably why it's dry. But anyways, man, I forgot what I was telling you. Oh, okay, my medication, whenever I was taking my synthroid, when I first got the thyroid out, this, you have to take, they had to give me magnesium and give me calcium because, and then I was supposed to take calcium for a while to see if the because my parathyroids are still in there. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But um, anyways, on the right side it wasn't working, so that's why they ended up taking it out because it was swollen. It was like very slow active. And but anyways, they were giving me this medication and they didn't tell me, like take them apart like so many hours apart, 10 minutes apart or whatever. So I'm taking them right at the same time. And then I ended up in the hospital like 4 or 5 times and stayed in there for weeks at a time because they couldn't figure out why my calcium was low and my magnesium would get low. And believe it or not, the nurse was giving me all these pills in my hand at once. She didn't say take them separate, so I'm like taking them. So I had to do my own research, and you're supposed to take them hours apart. I take my synthroid in the morning, and then maybe some hours later, I wait 4 hours, but you don't have to wait that long. I just do it unless I feel like I need my calcium. Then you have to at least wait at least an hour from what I've felt like on my body. And I've heard doctors say 10 minutes, so here we go again with the if, ands, and maybes. But from my experience, you have to at least wait an hour apart from taking the other medication because if you don't, they counteract each other. One of them won't work. So make sure you're taking, like if you get a sore, a cut, a bruise, you don't have to be taking something regularly, but if a doctor says take your medication because you've got an infection or something's going on low at the particular time or whatever you have going on in your body, which a lot of us have something going on no matter what age or excuse me, gender, you're going to take a medication in your life sometime. So make sure you check if you have more than one to separate them within an hour or more. Sometimes it tells you more. Because if you don't, it's going to counteract. And sometimes you got to wait 4 hours because like they tell you take your medication every 4 hours or sometimes every 6 hours, certain medications. There's a reason for that because it's still in your system. Now, if you take this, it might be a lower dosage in there, so it won't counteract with your other. But my magnesium kept going low, and then my calcium would go low because they didn't tell me to take them separately, so I was taking them together. And my nurse came in there, and she handed me all my pills. She didn't say, well, take them separately. She handed me all of my pills, the synthroid, the calcium, and the magnesium. So here they are. So I'm like taking them and taking them. And one time I took both of my calcium, and they were pretty high doses, like 500 milligrams. And I was like sick to my stomach. I'm like, oh, I'm so sick, and my stomach hurt so bad because you should take it with food too. So they didn't even bother to tell me that. And I was a nurse. I wasn't a nurse at the time, so I kind of like didn't even really think about it. Isn't that weird how if you haven't used it in a while, you don't even think about it? But for some reason, my brain started kicking in again to like knowledge. Once you learn, you'll remember. And then I went online. I'm like, hold on, I think I'm not supposed to be taking them like this. And then I found out that separating them. And then I ended up not being in the hospital. And then the doctor was telling me, I don't know why, maybe you're dying. I'm like, dying? He says he didn't know why my stuff kept lowering and not enough in there. I had to stay in there and get IVs, and they were separating them. All kinds of crazy stuff. So watch them. Watch your doctor. Make sure you're taking care of your own health because you could be dead if you rely on them not telling you something. Or, sometimes they keep you sicker and then they get more money, so they're not going to tell you. But it's your life. So pay attention. Anyways, that's enough of this. So we're going to do some good stuff coming up. We got some projects. Now this, I've used, look, it's almost gone. So when I do the rice water, maybe I don't have to start searching for weird things for the hair. So, but it was okay. It didn't really do as much as I think the coconut oil makes it feels really soft today. It's pure coconut oil, and you can use those, I mean, in food, cook with that. But you can, everything that I put in my hair is like, I can cook with it. So it's just not going to be harmful to my hair. I use baking soda. Almost sound like I'm making a cake. Coconut oil and vinegar. So it loves it though. My hair just loves that. But I just want it a little bit more shinier and not quite as dry. So I'm going to try the rice water. And I'll be back. I'm going to go check on Rosalind. Let's go check on her real quick. Here we go.